thank you guys so much, like to ArtCube for even giving me the opportunity to do this. It's super cool. It kind of started with a silly idea, which I'll get into in a minute, but I truly do appreciate it. And thank you to everybody that actually is calling in too. I know this is a very trying time right now. You know, both ends of it. There's the what do I do, and then there's the be overly positive. And I think healthy balance just in life in general is finding that in the middle, so that we can move forward and think of new ideas of how to do things, kind of roll with the times of where they are right now, and come together, really. Like, it's the only way that we can actually do it right now is by using our voice, by calling into these things, by being uncomfortable, because the only way change happens is if you're feeling uncomfortable. Like, if everything feels like it's going 100% on set, you're like, oh shit, 2 seconds right before we roll, like something falls or whatever. So we've all been in that spot too. And I think just, you know, the momentum that we have on set, we have to find a way that we can continue to do that from here. So I started this, just to give you an idea, I art direct, I work in film and TV, I set, dress, and decorate, I make props, love curiosities. I was in the event world actually for a really long time too, and sadly I haven't done one in a while, so I love that we have some event people on here too, because that sounds super fun as well. But basically what happened was I started noticing, as we all have, we're seeing frames on TV right now, with TV personalities. Everybody's shooting at home, doing live from home broadcasts. They are streaming on multiple platforms. So I started taking screenshots, basically of like Jimmy Kimmel and Tamron Hall and all these people that we just look at the background and there's eyesores pretty much everywhere. So I'm gonna show you something very quickly as an example of what I was doing. Forgive me for the iPad and also reading my notes, because I am not always used to being on camera. We're all background people, but I basically started doing this where I would take a picture and then I would mark it up. So Tamron Hall, for instance, like the orchid's too big, you know, this looks like a weird rooster in a bowl. It's like a bunch of onions or whatever it is just sitting there. I mean, there's obviously 100 other things that we would change if we were doing it. But, you know, we have to kind of accept that this isn't their job, like talent's not art department. So how do we get involved? So I started doing these markups. I tagged everybody, ABC. It was just very interesting that like literally a couple of days later, all those specific notes were moved. Not saying it came down to what I did, but I've done probably about 6 of these at this point, and every specific note was changed. So of course I was like, wait a minute. So I'm gonna read just my one little excerpt of how I put that thought together. The main goal of this at first was to be lighthearted, give myself something to do, generate some laughs. And then I realized that actually the main goal of doing that was to show the industry and network professionals, the producers, all the people that are in charge of hiring us anyway, that we can still safely be working from home. Pictures up, and most of it lasts like that last look that we do when we're on set. And where do we do this last look? We do it at a monitor. So you can be standing in a room all day and it doesn't look like that. So why aren't we looped in? Whether it's beforehand, you know, I think it's about maybe getting on the phone with somebody beforehand, get some screenshots of somebody's house, blank, and with in it for blocking. And we have rendering programs that we, you know, can fill in the blanks and say, I would put this there or that there. You know, there's also like a fine balance between telling somebody their house doesn't look good and how to enhance it. So I'm gonna refer back to the article for a second, just so I kind of stay on the structure. So the pandemic should not equate, this is kind of a call to networks, the pandemic should not equate to all of us being out of work. So what can we do? Currently, I'm actually set dressing for a TV radio personality, and this is work that I'm actually getting paid for right now. There's an art director that that I'm friends with, that I've worked with on several jobs, and we are literally doing just this now. So it's happening. It's starting to get out there. I think networks are also like a little hesitant right now to ask talent to do too much, because it's not generally their job. I think it's about finding a comfortability of how much to ask them to do. Stuff that would be like a no-brainer for us might be a huge ask for them. So I think that's also finding that balance as well. Another thing that I've been doing from home, obviously I've linked up with ArtCube Army. Thanks, big shout out to everything that they're doing with what's going on now in the world and helping our healthcare workers and everything. So an art director friend of mine and I also started getting involved with that, and then we were like, well, what else can we do too? We might not have some of the same resources, but we have other resources. So on a pro bono aspect, we started a campaign, Art Makes Masks. So we have actually been cranking out a lot of masks, all based on donations, stitchers, wardrobe people. I mean, the amount of support that has come in through this campaign has been so wonderful. Like just connecting with people, that reconnecting, but also connecting with new people that probably wouldn't have been a thought before. And it's just wonderful to see how quickly and in the volume that it's happening, because, you know, it's an emergency. We need to do this shit now. Like, it's the same thing if a network comes to us and says, hey, tomorrow, I need you, art department, to build a bridge out of wood, and we need to set a fire underneath it, but it can't burn down. Like, I use that analogy because it's such a ridiculous request. But the nature of who we are as artists and doers is that we figure out how to do it. So that's what we need to do right now. We need to figure out how to start opening our economy up again. So another thought was, you know, you have props. I mean, this is a silly example. I just randomly found this thing. It was used on a show that's actually coming out at the end of this month. It's like a kids game show kind of thing. And I was just thinking, like, not this, but this is an example of like random things that we have at our house. We could start, everyone's doing these TikTok videos. Like, I'm not saying do that, but there has to be something creative that we could do with stuff that we already have. And then we could sell that stuff. You could sell the idea to a network. You could sell the item to the network. There can be producers to link up with about content. There can be working off of content that's happening right now. Like somebody had mentioned to me, you know, the gardening, that everybody's doing their stuff with their vegetables. I mean, we could make and sell really cute things for that, you know, instead of throwing it in a Tupperware, for instance. And who's going to market that out? The people that we're sending it to at their house, and that they're saying, oh, look, I got this, not at Etsy, but whatever that platform's going to be. So these are just like kind of ways of thinking outside of the box. Let's see, there will be, going to the next thing. So the positive element here to offer talent is to offer them solutions that are easy in a set it and forget it way. Introducing bespoke pieces that are current content. Another thought that I had was, okay, what's the safety thing going to be like when we all do start going back to work? Well, I'm going to take a guess we're all going to have to wear a mask. I mean, I personally would feel more comfortable if everyone had one, because they are talking about a potential second run of this. So what can we do? We can get contracts through production companies to buy masks from us. Don't buy them through some weird thing online. Give our freelancers who are also fundraising right now to help people, give us work. We'll make masks for production. I mean, these are just all things that are sort of in the works right now. I really look forward to working with everybody over at ArtCube Army. I think that we're gonna have wonderful opportunities to be able to open work up to people. But we have to share this information with people, because if we just sit around, nothing's gonna happen. So in my opinion, I think we get a blog going every day. Commit yourself to doing something that's creative, that could maybe add to your portfolio, like you're only as good as your last job kind of deal. So produce it. We are producers at the end of the day. We make stuff happen. So I'm sending so much love and positivity to everybody. I really do look forward to hearing so many people's ideas too, and where we could go with this. And that's kind of, I'm glad that you all were here to hear it out today. I think I have to figure, okay, this is what I don't do. I'm not a tech person, so I'm not sure how to turn the things on.
Maybe we could have some questions if people want to like raise a hand or give an opinion. I don't know.
Oh wait, I lost volume. I lost volume on you. Oh, there we go.
I think Jana raised her hand. Is that right?
Unmute myself. Oh, I can unmute myself. Sorry. I was really fascinated by the way that you would like tag people in the post, like where you like doodled and they were like, then the things disappeared. Did they respond to you like personally, or you just watch it the next time?
Nobody responded to me. Nothing came back to me, but literally the next day, within 2 days, it was different. The exact specific things that were marked up.
Are you posting this on like your personal Instagram, or like how are you sending these things?
For now, it was personal Instagram. It was Facebook. I did LinkedIn also. So I used multiple platforms, just, see. Yeah. It did get quite a number of views. I wouldn't say likes, but views, I could see that. I mean, so it's always a numbers game. Somebody saw something.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I mean, I have no way of proving that, but I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Like, I mean, I didn't mark the whole thing up, because then I'm like, then I'm doing your job for you. Like, this is you hire us to do this. There's enough people that might need help. And then there's also people that are saying afterwards, oh my gosh, I wish I had some help. Like, with my background. There's people actually saying this on TV right now. We need to be able to pull us all together in one spot. ArtCube Army. I'm telling you, like, there has to be a way that's public, that we can blast out, get a press release, start getting this out. But in order to do that, it can't just be one person. And we have to be positive about how we're approaching this, because again, there's that fine line between like it being people's personal homes, the amount of things that you can ask from them. Like, we have to be really careful about this as well. But I really do think that this is a feasible thing. I mean, we don't know when we're getting back on set. I mean, and when we do, it might only be 25% of the crew, for instance. So what does that mean for the rest of us? Okay, fine, then they open it again, then it gets sick again. So what are we supposed to do? Sit around for another 3 months? So we can start thinking about how to change that now, and hope it generates, curiosity. I mean, we're art department. We should definitely be able to handle curiosity.
Yeah, totally. Can I say one more thing? Sorry, I just don't know how this all works.
Well, Wow, you all are breaking my cherry here. This is my first like big Zoom meeting, so thank you.
I just think it's a great idea, and I love that you've already taken initiative, and I think that they will, because people are asking for the help, and like I've seen so many where it's just like a blank white wall. I was like, so many people do not even have like interior design in their own homes, which also baffled me. I was like, but I'm sure they're also told to find a blank corner because it can be distracting to see weird things in the background. So I would be curious if you start posting things like side by side, be like, hey, look what I wrote up 2 weeks ago. Oh, look, it's gone. Like if you keep the narrative going, or try to get it on like another platform, like maybe ArtCube starts posting like things, because right now it's only on your personal account, like, you know, start expanding the narrative, especially if you're tagging all of them. Like, of course they're looking at it. Like they've already shown you that they're looking at it. Like, it's not necessarily about the number of likes, it's like who's looking at it.
Yeah. And
So
if I see another
art
orchid again, all of a sudden everybody's got orchids. If I see one more orchid, apparently that's an interior design thing too. Like,
Yeah.
like for staging and stuff, like it's a whole thing about the orchids. And that was really funny because that was 2 of the notes that I made on 2 of the things, and then the orchids were gone.
Yeah, it's like a thing people think is fancy, but they don't know why. So then they just have it and they're like, let's put this in the frame.
Mask, well, this is one mask that we made. It's like really cool African fabric. But I'm like, how cool would it be to have like, you know, sorry, that wasn't a good example because my hair was in the way. How cool would it be to have like show black masks and maybe just like the production company logo or something like right there, or whatever. They don't have to be black. It's not an all black set mandatory thing. Show black. You know, you could do colors that are the company colors or something. Like, I don't know. I would really like to see that take off, and then give our stitchers and like our wardrobe people and everybody that, you know, isn't necessarily banging out costumes right now. Like, that's a way to generate work, you know? So I don't know. I think that would be cool to like have, we're working on some examples right now with show black fabric, and like, I don't know, iron on logos, or maybe there's a better way. Maybe we have a vendor that like needs a little help that can crank some out for us. Like, that's the whole thing about keeping the economy going. Let's all stay in touch and like talk to each other, and it should, we should find a way to make it a little bit easier, you know, the keeping in touch. Like, it was so funny actually, one of the lighting guys from the last crew that I worked on, by the way, Legendary, is a show that I just wrapped. We got so lucky. Broadway shut down on the 11th, I believe. Our finale was on the 12th. And we had to cancel our live audience, but we got our last finale episode in the can the day before everything got shut down. Like, it was crazy. It was like crazy. So Legendary and Big Fib just got announced today. And these were 2 shows that were like very dear to me, that I made a lot of props on and did like set deck and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy that this call is today. And then the 2 things launched this morning. And then we just got like a very generous, amazing donor sponsor for the Art Makes Masks. So they know who they are, and it's just been like a really wonderful week. Like, we can all do it. We all got to do it together. Like, it's pooling our resources, pooling the resources. How's everyone else doing? Has anybody else had any kind of work or volunteer or anything else going on? I can't hear anything. I don't know if that's me or.
Most everybody is muted because of feedback. So if you want to talk, you can either unmute yourself, or I don't know, wave your hands, and Leah can unmute you. But if you just go to the little mute button in the lower left-hand corner, you can unmute yourself if you have a question or a comment. Or not. I love having your enthusiasm, Lisa, and just like, I don't know, it's real good to have some good news today. And I'm so glad you're having a killer day. And I really appreciate all of the thought that you put into this. I know, you know, I don't know what the next step is to like gather everybody together to kind of make a move for this kind of new profession, but I think there's a lot of possibility there. So, you know, I'm definitely going to put my head together with Eva and see if there's a way, you know, that we can help with that. We are setting up a new website for ArtCube Army. You know, it's more at this moment more of a funnel for requests for like face shields, and we're still like in the nitty gritty of like that push. But boy, I just can't wait to think about something else. It's been a real long month, but you know, I think there's a real answer to like all of that, and certainly, I mean, I don't know. I've seen some very interesting ideas that people have for how to stage their houses. New York One in particular tends to put their anchors in front of their own TV with a graphic on it, which I gotta say is like the least offensive. But and mainly the news I watch also. But it's such an interesting thing. I've definitely noticed an abundance of orchids in the world and in people's homes, and I think this is such an interesting idea. I feel like, I mean, even if we're not like all together on it, I feel like you could push a little bit harder and be like, hey, would you like, you know, hey talent, would you like to have a one-on-one like consultation? You know, call me in your set and like, let's work together for an hour, and you could charge them for that. I mean, and like, I certainly don't know how necessarily to market that, but I think you're kicking off like a really interesting idea just with your drawings. And even if like you can't get the network to agree or to respond, maybe you can hit the right talent that are like, yes, I want to have an hour consultation with you, Lisa, and like help me make my little corner look better.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
We all have so many like tricks up our sleeve to, we could send them a little mini kit that's obviously built into the cost, but you send them the little kit too. You know, we know which specific command strips don't pull paint off the wall. You know, we know things like that you just make it super simple. Again, set it and forget it. Or just, yes, the one thing about the consultation, I think we will get people that would be willing to do that directly, but there'll be other instances, like the one I'm working on right now is actually, it's probably like a 2 to 3 person thing apart. So we all know how frustrating that can be. I think a move forward is establishing if it's a 4-hour minimum. I feel like we all should try and get on a general consensus of what this is for our rate. We're not on set for 12 hours. You know, how much of the rendering is involved? Is it just getting on the phone and moving a few things around? I think we should maybe start thinking about a structure of what we're offering too. So, you know, this person, just so that it's fair. I mean, there's, you know, and not one person's working for so much less, for less than your worth, and it's taking down what everyone else could get. Like, there has to be a good, I know it's gonna happen, but if we set a standard, it's like, you know, that's something to think about, touch on.
What have you been, I mean, unless this is a sensitive question, what have you been kind of like asking in terms of rate?
So I have been asking for $50 an hour, but that's including me doing SketchUps. It's also sourcing specific props. I mean, there's a whole nother thing with this. This particular person also doesn't want everything coming in bits to the house, obviously, and also wants everything to sit outside of their house for like 5 days. So like, there's a whole big thing that's going on with this. And again, maybe not everyone's like that. James Corden definitely had somebody come into his house. I mean, let me see if I can get that. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. But it's 100% he had somebody come in. Like there's cabinets in the back and there's like posters hanging on the thing. It's like that definitely wasn't there. And there's like up lighting. So they at least had a team of 3 people minimum to come in and do that. So it's kind of different. Like if you're going on site, that might be a different rate. Like, I don't know.
For sure. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. Like I generally just run ArtCube, but that feels a little low to me anyway, frankly, for your professionalism and experience. But, you know, times are as they are. And certainly, I mean, doing it remote versus doing it in person is extraordinarily different. It's like at least this month.
This is also an art director that's paying me out of their rate. So
copy that. So yeah, like there's a difference there.
Help out situation. I don't know what his rate is. That's fine. I was like, thanks for letting me get some work. I mean, he didn't have to do that, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I hear you. This is, trying to find the James Corden thing. Yeah, so yeah, I look forward to seeing where we can go with this. I mean, does anyone else have any thoughts on what we've talked about?
I just think it's a good idea. I think you're on the right track. I think it is like an organizing thing. It's like, do you want it to be a hub that they come to, like essentially like come to ArtCube to find your freelancer who is going to do this for you? Or do you want it to be like a separate entity that's like flowing through you? Like, you know, they contact you and you find other people. It's like, from more of a business perspective, it's like, how do you want the logistics to flow? Because you could get a lot of like Instagrammers, like a lot of influencers who are like pretty self-conscious and they have all the cute stuff in their house, but they just can't arrange it. And like so many people are live streaming right now that I think it hits more than just like big production houses. Like I think you could get a lot, like people you wouldn't necessarily expect. You could get a lot of people to like front some cost because they are still making a profit if most of what they do is anyway.
Well, I definitely think it needs to be structured through a hub, you know, that has a presence, like 100%. You know, starting a campaign and then actually making it more like company is very different. So this to me definitely is more of like a company hub, and then everybody goes there. There's a forum where we can chat. It's links that are shareable and public. And then I think it's about getting press on it, to be honest. Like, I really think that we just need to get some press on it. Somebody will cover it somewhere. How many friends do we have that do a million different things? Like, if enough of us, again, pool our resources and start connecting the dots, it's going to get out there.
Yeah, it's like Glam Squad, kind of. Like, a hub that you go to and they send you someone from their thing.
Oh,
It's cool. I like it. I just don't have any like pull, so I'm like, I can only do so much by way of PR. Like, I don't really work in that realm.
Yeah, we'll get there. I think it's about, you know, maybe we can chat like after this call. Like, you know, I definitely think us maybe marking some stuff up and generating that way. Or again, like I was saying, like, you know, if you have props and stuff that you think you could sell, like do some beauty shots of it. It doesn't have to be an edited video with perfect lighting. Like, it could be like something cool that you made that's relevant to what's going on right now, and just filter everything through that. Like, you got to have content to be able to, you know, get yourself heard, if you will. And art department's all about visuals, so we need to see it from you guys. We have to see, like, they have to see an initiative. It can't just be us saying that we want to do something, you know? So.
Yeah, Lisa, I think that you're right on point though, just from a social media standpoint. That's what I studied in college, and getting your name out there on social media, especially right now, everyone's on social media. They're at home, they're on social media. Like, what else can they do?
Yeah.
And so getting your name out there, directly going to those people and saying, hey, look, like, this is what I can do for you. And just getting your information and like you said, all the visual things that you can do on your social media, and reaching out to people that way, I think will make a huge impact, at least for now, until we can kind of figure out what kind of platform we want to be putting all of these things on. I think that that's a great start for everyone.
I think also, like, we could hire somebody to look up, you know, and put a data sheet together of like all these names to shoot this stuff out to, you know? So it's just ways of thinking about how to get people work.
Yeah, I agree. Did you find that James Corden thing?
I did, and I kind of gave up for a second because I didn't want to be rude.
That's okay. Well, does anyone else have anything that they want to add, or any experiences that they kind of want to share?
Yeah, hi, this is Francine. I think it's a great idea. And another thing, which I haven't seen any younger people or, you know, kids with masks. For the most part, it's always, you know, adults. And that can also be another angle that, you know, we could take with this.
Yeah, like sizes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Sizes and you know, definitely make it where it wouldn't be a hazard, you know, where a kid could accidentally be choked or anything like that with the strings. But maybe make it where it just goes behind the ear, or just something, you know, whereas we can also protect the children as well. And then, you know, we could make money from it.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about coming up with something that's adjustable, you know, like the back of a hat. I mean, the price for that is probably going to increase greatly, but I was thinking maybe almost like a Velcro flap or something too, so that also it's not sitting on your ears all day, and it's adjustable from the back, you know, it goes like behind. So those like headband kind of things too is another idea. I mean, it's almost like an a la carte for masks. Still there?
That's awesome. Does anyone else have any ideas, or, I mean, I would love to be able to continue this conversation outside of Zoom. And if everyone is on ArtCube Nation, Lisa, maybe you can post something, and we can kind of continue it on there, and we can share each other's contact information. You can also, if you click on chat, everyone can write their emails, and we can kind of start an email chain. There's just the chat right there on the bottom bar of Zoom. If you guys are wanting to add your emails and continue the conversation through that. But yeah, is there anything else that you want to talk about, Lisa?
We're good. I did find the James Corden thing, but I don't know if the quality is really that fantastic. So I can give it a whirl if you want, but I could just post it later with the article.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna post a recording of this little chat. So if somebody comes up with a question or a thought or something like that, you can always, you know, answer the post on ArtCube, and we can kind of keep the flow going there. I think this is a brilliant idea, and I'm just excited to have a conversation, you know, with a little bit more positivity than negativity. And I think it's really there's a lot of possibility there. I agree that social media is like the first marketing avenue, and I think, you know, your idea is fantastic. I think there's like a real leverage there. But otherwise, let's you know, let's keep it going on the Cube. And I don't know if anybody wants to like talk to this further, you know, let us know. We're more than happy to host the meeting. If anybody wants to talk about something else, we're happy to host that meeting too. I think it's just more important than ever for all of us to be sharing these ideas and just even having like the networking and the conversation and bouncing it off of each other, and just, you know, having some correspondence. You know, just want to remind everybody, if you have a desire for that, let us know and like let us host it. We're excited to do so. We like seeing your shining faces. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, if you guys do have any ideas for meetings, you can either email us, you can message us on any social media platforms, and then we can get that situated. Lisa, is there anything else that you want to add?
No,
or anyone else?
Thank you to everyone hearing out the crazy ideas and rolling with me on my first official Zoom call.